All right, go on.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Axel. Huge fan. Okay.
Good.
Right, I've read all the books. I've read Slash's book, I've read Duff's book, I've read some pretty dreadful books, but I'd really like to hear your version. Are you going to write a book?
I think so, possibly, yes.
Please do.
But it's tough because I haven't figured out how to word things in a way that doesn't just look like I'm being negative to everybody else or calling them a liar, you know? Because, it was with the first, Slash and I hadn't talked in 19 years. And when we did talk, I was like, dude, and he wrote a lot of stuff that didn't even happen. It's not real, you know?
What did he say?
There was a 2008 fan chat that Axel did on the MyGNR forums where somebody had asked him whether he'd ever write a book. And he'd basically indicated that he may someday, but he has actually had a pretty detailed record of everything that transpired between him and the previous members of Guns N' Roses at that time, referring to Duff and Slash, in order to protect himself legally. There was even rumors in 2008 that Guns N' Roses were going to be doing a reality show to basically document the launch of Chinese democracy. It was 2008. It was just before Chinese democracy was about to come out. It was around the spring of 2008. And it seemed like the album was finally done. It was in the record company's hands and it was about to come out. So there was rumors that came out around the time that talked about Guns N' Roses filming a reality series that basically documented their journey to release Chinese democracy after a long wait. And here's what the article had to say. So it says a major music-oriented TV channel had pitched the idea of a reality series to Axl Rose. According to sources close to the project, the show, which would appear on a cable channel that asked not to be identified, would follow the troubled rocker as he continues his decade-long effort to release the Guns N' Roses project Chinese Democracy. The new, still untitled reality show would follow Rose and his band as they prepare for the release of the album, and it would include behind-the-scenes rehearsal and studio footage, as well as interviews with a number of the participants. There's a lot of footage to choose from, said a network source. Some of it's incredibly personal and revealing about Axl's life. So according to the network source, the deal for the show is close but not signed, and part of the holdup seems to be timing, as the participants want to integrate the show into a timeline with the lead up of the album's release, along with the announcement of a limited number of concert dates. So this was published on April 8th of 2008, which was about 7 months before Chinese Democracy dropped. However, Del James, who was in Axl's camp, was quick to jump on the matter, delivering an unsurprising response by saying, despite rumors floating around the internet, Guns N' Roses will not be appearing on any reality show or reality TV program to promote their forthcoming album Chinese Democracy or for any other reason. Now, the network might have as well just consulted the unofficial GNR spokesman, who was Sebastian Bach around this time. So Sebastian Bach shed some more light on it. He said, I would bet my life you won't be seeing Axl Rose reality TV show. We were gallivanting across Europe in 2006. We were sitting at a restaurant and I go, dude, I just shot this reality show for VH1 and they paid me this amount of money. And they basically paid me $1 million for 10 days of some shit. He's looking at me with this look on his face, and he's all quiet, and he goes, Sebastian, you don't understand. I will pay VH1 $2 million to leave me the F alone. So Baz told Rolling Stone that in a June 23rd, 2008 interview. I remember hearing this rumor, and I remember thinking at the time that it was complete BS because Axl was always a very private person, and why on earth would he want to share his life and, his album that may or may not come out, and at least at that point in time, it didn't seem like it had a certain release even as early as 2008. So around the time that it's rumored that Axl is offered a reality show to follow the release of Chinese Democracy, there's also some news in the Velvet Revolver camp. So in April of 2008, Scott Weiland is officially fired as the lead singer of Velvet Revolver, and rumors start to swirl on the internet by May of 2008 that the band was offered a chance to have a reality show to recruit Scott Weiland's replacement. So according to GigWise, Velvet Revolver were offered a chance to use a reality TV show to find a replacement for singer Scott Weiland, drummer Matt Sorum had revealed. So the band have been without a frontman since Weiland's acrimonious split following their European tour the previous month. Speaking to Artisan News, Sorum said that several TV producers had approached them about the idea, including Mark Burnett, who produced Rockstar Supernova and Survivor in America. So Rockstar Supernova, if you guys don't know, actually had Gilby Clarke on the show. So however, the drummer said that the band declined the offers because they felt that reality TV wasn't the right forum to use to recruit a new member. He added that they expected to announce more details about Weiland's replacement over the coming weeks, and since his split from the group, Weiland has rejoined his original band Stone Temple Pilots and was scheduled to head out on a huge US tour later that month. Now, what's funny is that even though Velvet Revolver rejected the chance to have their own reality show in 2008, they kind of had their own reality show back in 2003, although it wasn't officially released till 2004. So you guys may have seen it on YouTube. There's a documentary that VH1 shot called The Rise of Velvet Revolver, or it's called Inside Out, The Rise of Velvet Revolver. And they actually put out an official press release in November of 2004 that said, with one of the rock's most charismatic frontmen, Scott Weiland, guitarist Slash, bassist Duff McKagan, and drummer Matt Sorum, and guitarist Dave Kushner have truly exploded this year. Their debut album, Contraband, which entered the Billboard album chart at #1, quickly achieved platinum status, spurred by two #1 rock singles, Slither and Fall to Pieces, and earned the distinction of becoming the biggest-selling rock album to be released in 2004. But the group's backstory is one of the most interesting in all of rock, as viewers will get to see in VH1's newest installment of Inside Out series, Inside Out, The Rise of Velvet Revolver, which premiered on Wednesday, December 1st, in 2004. So the special documented the ups and downs of Velvet Revolver for over 1 year, from the applicant screenings and their initial search for a lead singer to the video shoot for their first single, Slither. Viewers will be able to experience their first live performance and hear intimate interviews with the band members. After 8 months of not finding a worthy frontman, the group is running out of time and patience, and when Scott Weiland of Stone Temple Pilots rehearses, they instantly know that they have found their guy. But just about when they're about to kick their musical engine into full throttle, they hit a speed bump when Scott is arrested. And instead of giving up on the singer that solidified their vision, the group bands together, remaining loyal to their friend and bandmate, determined to stick together. So if you guys want to see the documentary, I've put the link down below. So what's even more funny is that a year before Velvet Revolver got this proposal to have their own reality show, both Duff and Slash ended up appearing on Rockstar Wives. It was like a show that was on the E! Network. It was all about being married to different rock stars. And they interviewed Susan, who was Duff's wife. They interviewed Perla, who was then Slash's wife. And they even interviewed Duff and Slash as well on the show. And then Duff and his wife appeared on another show, which was a reality show called Married to Rock. And they were in a couple episodes of those. Those used to be on YouTube, but I can't seem to find them anymore. But this episode, this 7-minute snippet, is on YouTube if you guys want to go check it out. So that does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button. And would you have watched a Velvet Revolver reality show that would have, followed them to basically go find a singer? I think it may have been interesting because in the end, they never ended up finding a singer, and maybe they would have had they gone this route. But I think the band didn't want to look like they were doing like their version of American Idol. And I think it would have been fascinating to see a reality series about that basically document Axl's and his band's journey to go release Chinese Democracy. Now, in 2008, Axl was taking fan questions on an online forum, and he revealed that he's quite the reader. In fact, one of the fans asked him a question about the song Catcher in the Rye off Chinese Democracy, and the interviewer said, "I just like to say I feel that you've captured the mood and feeling of J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye perfectly. Why did you choose that book as a reference in regards to Chinese Democracy? On a related note, what are your 5 favorite books?" Axl said, "My 5 favorite books include The Stand, A Scanner's Darkly, The Mutant Kink, The Zodiac, and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein." He said, "Okay, I've never actually tried to put this into words though this way before, and they'll probably get me into trouble with somebody out here, but here it goes. The piano started while watching a documentary or A&E type show on Chapman and wanting to write something for Lennon and his family. He said, with the book, it started as a fascination and a curiosity with Holden Caulfield syndrome and what was or could possibly be in the book that obviously certain vulnerable people have seemed to become so passionate about and resort to outrageous public attempts or acts of violence. That and the question most have in regard to Lennon's death. Why? Can't say I have those answers, but I feel like our song pays emotional tribute to John Lennon in the end that I wanted to write since the night he was killed, and also since first listening to Elton and Bernie's Empty Garden. I read the book and I fell into a dark, deep sleep. went to the studio and sang as a joke what I refer to as holding parts off the top of my head, and felt at the same time, at least in my opinion, I stumbled onto a way of thinking that had a pattern and flow, but was broken up like a television station going out and coming back slightly off course intermittently. So in 2007, Slash was the first member of Guns N' Roses to put out his autobiography. And his 2007 biography, I think, is one of the best books out there if you're a Guns N' Roses fan. And most of the book was written with Anthony Bozza, who's written a number of other books, including with Tommy Lee, Artie Lang. And most of the book focuses, of course, on Slash's years with Guns N' Roses, including many, rock star cliches that you guys have come to know over the years, including trashing hotel rooms, groupies, drug abuse. And Slash also talks in great detail about Axl Rose and his departure from the band in the mid-90s. He also highlights Axl's inability to show up to gigs and rehearsals on time, in addition to Axl's almost dictator-like control of the band, which contributed in his eyes to the band's downfall. Slash also talked about in his book about how Axl wanted to change the musical direction of the band to include more synthesizers and effects, rather than guitar-driven blues rock as with the earlier material they had. Slash also talks about how he eventually achieved stability and sobriety after his second marriage and the birth of his 2 sons. And within a couple of years, we'd see more members of Guns N' Roses write their own biographies, including My Appetite for Destruction in 2010 from Steven Adler, and Duff Punk Rock McKagan's It's So Easy and Other Lies. Even Steven Adler's mom got into the writing game by publishing her book a couple of years ago called Sweet Child of Mine, How I Lost My Son to Guns N' Roses. So that does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know which Guns N' Roses book is your favorite, whether it's a band member's book or someone like Mick Wall or Stephen Davis's book. Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, guys, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe if you love GNR as much as I do. Take care.